Hi guys, it's Brittany. My husband and I have been traveling with my son since he was 3 months old. He's 21 months old now. We've traveled to all kinds of different countries with him, and I have to say that the #1 travel accessory that we've brought, I've actually looked at my husband many times during our travels and said this to him, the #1 item that we couldn't live without is our baby carrier. And when I say baby carriers, I'm talking about a wide range of items here. So those soft wrap baby carriers, the soft structured baby carriers, hiking backpacks. In this video, based on my personal experiences, I'm going to recommend that you bring at least one of these kinds of carriers. Even if you're not planning on hiking, even if you're gonna bring a stroller, it's really helpful to also have a baby carrier with you. I also want to talk a little bit about airplane rules, what you can and can't do on takeoff and landing as far as baby wearing. Obviously, I'm a huge fan of baby wearing and baby carrying. We still sometimes carry our baby son at 21 months old. We carry him a lot in the hiking backpack now. But I'm also well aware that this doesn't work for every baby and for every family. If you're not sure if you're a baby carrier type family or a baby carrier, baby wearing type mom, practice at home. Maybe start off with a secondhand or cheap carrier that you can find on something like Facebook Marketplace or from a friend, and try doing some chores around the house with your baby attached to you. See if your baby likes it, see if you like it, and then graduate to walking around your neighborhood or trying to do some groceries or errands while wearing your baby. What I would not recommend is having your travel day or your vacation being the first time that you ever try baby wearing. A few reasons why I need to have a baby carrier with me on travel days, especially when I'm navigating the airports, is because I need to have my hands free. For the times, especially when I've been traveling by myself without my husband, it has been an absolute lifesaver to have my son attached to me so that I could handle all of our bags and sometimes our stroller, navigating the airport, navigating security, and boarding the plane by myself. Another really important why is it just made my son feel really comfortable to be on us in airports and in situations where he wasn't familiar, he wasn't super comfortable. He really liked that comfort of being close to us. And a huge reason is that he would take contact naps on the go in the carrier. From the time he was a newborn until now, he'll still fall asleep in the carrier if we carry him around in it on a travel day. Whether or not our backs can handle it is another story. For the travel destination itself, not even talking about the airport and the airplane, a carrier is so useful because, especially in European cities with the cobblestone streets, having a stroller is sometimes just inconvenient. You can't get up staircases or some buildings are inaccessible, and so having your baby in a carrier is super freeing, super liberating, just to be able to go places and not look for an elevator. As far as what type or brand of baby carrier you want to use, it's really going to depend on you. Everybody's a little bit different. For us, when my son, from the time he was a newborn until about 4 months, we carried him in a soft baby carrier wrap. Don't be intimidated by these. There are YouTube videos that show you how to put them on, and then once you kind of get the hang of it, it becomes second nature. I still have muscle memory on how to wrap these things. The ones I use are basically a long piece of fabric that you wrap around yourself and then just sort of pop your baby into. Brands, we use the Bobo Wrap, which has a bit of a thicker feel, and we use that for colder days. And then we also had a Beluga Wrap, which is a Vancouver brand, local for us, and we use that for warmer days because it has a little bit of a thinner feel material. Any products that I mention here, I'll link down below in the description. And then when our son was a little bit bigger, like 3 or 4 months, we started using the soft structured carrier. We have a Lele little baby carrier. It's a lot like the Ergo baby carrier. This carrier specifically is my favorite travel item of all time. Ours is really worn out and beat up, and I love it so much. We've used it like every day of my son's life. This starting at about 5-6 months, when my son could hold his head up, we started facing him forward. This was my son's favorite thing, not just on travel days, just generally in life, to be carried around in this thing face forward. If you happen to have a baby like ours who never liked the car seat, who never really liked the stroller, give this a try. Front carry, soft carrier. It's really a game changer, and it makes getting around so much more pleasant with your baby/toddler. And if you want to, and if your toddler likes it, you can also use the soft carrier as a backpack. My son doesn't love this. We've tried it a few times. I'm gonna actually try to get him a little bit more used to it because I feel like it would be great for certain destinations on travel days. What we do instead is use a hiking backpack. So we've used a hiking backpack going through certain airports. We spent 3 months in Scotland last fall, and I didn't even bring a stroller with me. We only used the hiking backpack. I wouldn't recommend that because I like to at least have the stroller just to put all of my crap in personally, but it does work. You can travel with just a hiking backpack if that's something that you want to do. By hiking backpack, I mean like a big structured backpack that has space in it for other items, and you can start putting your baby into one of these starting at 6 months. This little nifty thing is called a Trail Magic. It's essentially a piece piece of material that's usually used for hiking, and it just snaps onto the front of any kind of backpack. And then you can slip your baby into it starting at 12 months. So from about 12 months old until like 4 or 5 years old, you can put a kid into this thing. Really handy for outdoor activities, but also for the airport if you're looking for something really simple that doesn't take up a lot of room but is still baby wearing, or like a baby wearing option for older kids. Okay, so let's talk really quickly about rules. Going through security in the US, TSA, supposedly you are allowed to go through security through the metal detectors while wearing your baby in a baby carrier. However, I have had the experience, and I've talked to other moms who have also had this experience, hi baby, where I've had to take my son out of the carrier. I don't know what it was. Maybe it was because I set off the metal detector with something else, like buckles on my shoes, or maybe my carrier set off the metal detector somehow. I've heard of moms with certain brands of wraps where they have the metal ring on them and that set off the metal detector, so they had to take their baby out of those. That wasn't my case. I'm not sure why I had to take my son out. But anyway, supposedly you don't have to take your baby out of the carrier, but just be prepared that you might have to anyway, because sometimes the security agents don't know the rules that well. In Europe, however, I've always had to take my son out of the carrier. Even when he was sleeping in the carrier, I had to take him out of it, unfortunately. If you're traveling alone, this can be a little bit tricky with a baby who can't walk yet, or even with a baby who can walk, because they can run off away from you. But in some airports, like in the Barcelona airport, they have this cute little baby jail, baby cage that you can set your baby down in while you're dealing with all of your bags at security, and I found this really awesome. They're also just super baby friendly in Spain. Mwah. Hello! And then the rules for baby carriers during takeoff and landing. In my experience, I've never been able to wear my baby carrier during takeoff and landing. You can wear it boarding the plane, but then as soon as you sit down, you'll probably have a flight attendant let you know the spiel. You have to take it off or take your baby out of it at least. Oh no! You could leave it on technically, but your baby can't be inside of it. This is again kind of a bummer if your baby is sleeping in the carrier, but this has been my experience. I've had them ask me to take my son out of it for security, for safety reasons, sorry. And so to Europe, and then within Europe, you'll be asked to put your baby on your lap like this, facing forward. They have little baby seat belts which loop through your adult seat belt and then around them. This can be a little bit tricky when your baby figures out how to unbuckle the seat belt, but that's another problem. Just make sure you have enough activities to kind of distract them from the seat belt if you feel like that is going to be an issue. And so for takeoff and landing, basically until the seat belt sign goes off, you have your baby on your lap, facing forward with their little baby seatbelt on. Alternatively, they can be in the breastfeeding position for takeoff and landing. And then in the United States, there's no baby seatbelt. You just simply hold your baby facing that way, facing towards you during takeoff and landing. Dora, you want to demonstrate? Oh, my little baby. If your baby is like ours and was really used to taking on-the-go naps in the carrier, we found it really useful to use our carrier during the flight to put our baby into, to put Dory into, and then walk up and down the aisles wearing the baby carrier to put him to sleep on the plane. To deplane, you can put your carrier back on. Your hands are free to carry your bags while you're getting off the plane. What did I miss as far as baby carriers and baby wearing on the plane? What other questions do you have? Let me know in the comments down below, and I will see you in my next video.